Now let's take you to France, and President Macron says he'll appoint a new Prime Minister in the coming days following the resignation of Michel Barnier. In an address to the nation, Mr Macron rejected calls to step aside, saying that he'll remain president until his term ends in 2027. Michel Barnier lost a no-confidence vote on Wednesday, 90 days after he became Prime Minister. President Macron's asked him to stay on in a caretaker capacity while his successor is chosen. Well, he began by thanking Barnier for his dedication and unwillingness to give up, and blamed the extreme right and extreme left for yesterday's no-confidence vote against him.
Parliament voted no confidence in the government, despite concessions made by the Prime Minister to the parliamentary groups. Unprecedented in 60 years, a vote of no confidence. Why? Because the extreme right and the extreme left joined in an anti-republican front, and because the forces that were governing France yesterday chose to help them. Now, I know that some people want to point the finger at me. It's a lot easier to do that. I've always accepted my responsibilities, whether they were mistakes or whether they were successes, but I've never taken on the responsibilities of others, particularly not parliamentarians who have decided to bring down the government and the budget a few days before Christmas. We have to set our ambitions high for France. We cannot allow ourselves to be divided or static. And that's why I will appoint a Prime Minister in the coming days.
Well, let's go straight to Paris and join our correspondent Mark Lowen, who is there for us. Mark, what comes next now?
Well, days of consultation until we get a name in the frame for a Prime Minister to lead a government that President Macron hopes would command the confidence and unity to some extent within a very fragmented parliament, Rajini, and we don't know when that's going to be, but President Macron clearly trying to take his time to find somebody who he believes will be able to bring together this very fragmented political scene. There has been a bit of a sort of mixed reaction really to his speech and to his public address last night. I saw a couple of opinion polls this morning, one saying that 59% of the French believe that he should resign himself, another one saying 64% think he should resign. He has ruled that out. He said he will stay in office until the end of his term, which is in 2027, and he took aim at his political opponents, notably the far right, Marine Le Pen. He didn't name her as such, but suggested that she was bringing down the government because she was doing it all for her personal political ambition, with her eye on the presidency in 2027. Well, a little earlier, I spoke to one of Mr. Macron's MPs, Eleonore Carrois, from his centrist Ensemble or Together party, and I put it to her that the main beneficiary of France's political chaos at the moment is indeed Marine Le Pen.
That's also a general and global movement, and you see it in pretty much every country. Maybe he thought he could contain that and do something different. He did make a different political proposal and made a lot of people coming from civil society, such as I am, enter into politics with new ideas and with the idea that we can work together, although we don't agree on everything. And you know, today we're very pessimistic because obviously the situation is difficult here in France, but I think we have to see some optimism. When you look at the Socialist Party that now say that they're willing to discuss, well, they weren't a couple of months ago. So I think we're learning the hard way, but we're learning eventually.
And Mark, all of this uncertainty in France comes as Donald Trump, the US president-elect, is due to visit the country this weekend.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be Donald Trump's first overseas visit since he won the election, when he comes here to Paris tomorrow, Saturday, for the inauguration of Notre Dame Cathedral 5 years after it was ravaged by fire. It has been restored in a magnificent way, and it is going to be inaugurated by President Macron, hosting Donald Trump. It is clearly Macron knows how to kind of charm the president-elect. During the first term, Macron was often seen as somebody who kind of got the measure of Trump and invited him to have dinner in that place at the top of the Eiffel Tower, which of course Trump absolutely loved, and now he's invited him to be present at the inauguration of Notre Dame. And so it is a moment when Macron would hope that France's glory would shine on the world stage. He was hoping to have a new government in place, we understand, before the inauguration tomorrow. That is possibly not going to happen now. He talked about how Notre Dame's restoration and the Olympic Games here in the summer shows what France can do rather than the political chaos that this country is engulfed in at the moment. But frankly, Rajini, a lot of people will have their eye on the political chaos rather than the glory of the cathedral.
Indeed. Mark Lowen in Paris with the very latest. Thank you very much.